Okay, good afternoon slash evening, everyone. Welcome to Trade Journal Market Update. So, what we're going to be talking about today is we've had a week off of trading. We're going to be talking about what's transpired over the last week. We've had a massive move down, and then we're going to be planning ahead, see what the future looks like. For those of you who are looking to hold Bitcoin, I'm going to show you what the outlook should be. I'm also going to be talking about the potential trades you could be entering and giving you the exact levels price will or should react from. Now, a lot of what we do here is traditional um, technical analysis. All right, technical analysis is based on the premise that all of the supply and demand in the market can be seen and can be read from the charts alone. Now, that means in order to make money this way, you must understand the laws of the technical movement of price action. That includes market structure, supply, demand, liquidity, okay, and many more. I'm going to be fitting all of that in this video as much as I can so you can pick these ideas up as you go along. So let's start off, I think, from the daily. Let's see what the daily holds for Bitcoin. We're going to tidy up this chart slightly because it does look a bit messy. And we're just going to give you an overview of what has happened. Now, Bitcoin has been in this tear up for a long time. Okay, Bitcoin has been on this tear up since September, July 2022. It's been on this uptrend. It's had areas of consolidation and it's been an uptrend. Consolidate, uptrend, consolidate, uptrend, consolidate. Okay, so we are familiar with this. Now, more recently, we've had a range. We've had an area of equilibrium from the suppliers, the buyers, and the sellers in the market. It's led to an incision up. We've had a bit of equilibrium again, aka a range, which has developed, broken down into a bigger range, which has then caused this massive range and this move up. Now we found ourselves around 125 slash 126,000 dollars for Bitcoin, which is monumental. If we look at the height of the last bull cycle, that was about 69, wasn't it? And then we got a massive move down. So since the last bull cycle, we have seen 82 around an 82% increase in Bitcoin. Now, sadly, this hasn't quite married up or lended itself to a similar move in some of the lower cap altcoins as we love to prepare for in the crypto space. Sadly, it hasn't. But the question is this the end of the bull run? Is it done? Is it done? For those of you who have followed me here for a long time, you know that here we know exactly how Bitcoin moves. We know when Bitcoin is at the top of its cycle, it loves to print a nice double tap, a double tap switch in direction from the top, aka comes up, creates a high, retraces, creates another high, just sweeping the prior high. All right, a nice range, a counter trend range model. It did it at an all-time high in April 2021. It did it at the low in June 2021. It also did it again in November 2021. All right, so we know what it likes to do. Has it done it again today or last week? It looks like we do have what could resemble a potential 3-tap model. Some of you might look at it as a 2-tap model, but what does this mean for Bitcoin? Well, let's delve deeper. If we take a look at the weekly for Bitcoin, now on the weekly, ignore these lines, just focus on the bars. I should have cleared this out before the stream. All right, you know what? Let me find something tidy. This should be tidy. Yeah, look at that. Oh, that looks fresh. Not as fresh, not as bad as the other one, right? All right, let's see if we can go this. Okay, that's nicer, isn't it? Yes, that's a lot nicer. Yeah, we like that. All right, so this is a market structure on the monthly for Bitcoin. On the monthly, we can see that Bitcoin has maintained this upward structure where we've got high, 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 low, high, high. We can't even count this. We got to go all the way up, high, low, high, high. Okay, so this is what it looks like for Bitcoin on the monthly, which means on the monthly, Bitcoin is still in an upward structure, aka in order for Bitcoin to lose structure on a monthly, we will need to see this level lost here, this level coming in at 76,262. Pivotal level. We're going to be talking a lot about that today. All right. So this is the line in the sand as far as the monthly structure goes. Now let's take a step in. Let's take a look at the weekly. And all it is from the monthly to the weekly is more definite structure. You're going to see more peaks and more troughs, and you're going to see, how Bitcoin has moved. Now, is it worth looking at here all this structure here on the weekly? Of course not. All we care about now on the weekly is this internal last leg, right? Because the moment we start to lose structure in this internal expansion leg here, what I mean by that is the moment we start to lose structure here, let's get a nice tool that helps us to see what I am talking about. This one, yeah, okay. The moment we start to lose structure on this leg here, all right, this is where we need to be worried. So where is that structure going to be? Well, let's take a look. If we look at the market structure on that internal leg, it looks like this: high, 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 low, high, 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 low, and it's created a high, high, but it hasn't managed to close. It has not managed to close below that last high, low at 104. So what does that mean for Bitcoin? Well, what that means is until we get a close below this level on the weekly, and by close we mean until we get a bar, a black bar that comes down and closes below that level, just like this, until we get something like this. Where is that level? That level is right there. So if I draw that in, until we get something like this, make this nice and dark, because it's meant to be a black bar, isn't it? To show that it's bearish. Until we get something, oh, that's not dark enough. Okay, maybe we increase the opacity. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Until we get something like this that closes below this line in the sand, right? We're okay. We are okay. This is just a retracement until we get that. The moment we start getting that, then it is more than a retracement. Because if we get that, that's the initiation to suggest that more likely than not, you headed down to 76, 75. The moment we start losing that 76, 75, that's an indication that, yep, the bear market is in. All right. But doesn't mean that's going to happen. So even though the whole crypto world and stocks and shares and everything, they're going a bit nuts at the moment, all right, just relax. Just relax. Nothing has happened just yet. Okay. So that's what it looks like on the weekly. Now let's talk about the daily. What's the daily structure going to give you? The daily structure is going to give you more defined insight on what Bitcoin is actually doing. So on the daily, are we going to look at this leg? Of course not. This leg? Of course not. This leg? No. On the daily, we can see that we have kind of a range taking place here. And actually, what I will say is not necessarily lose this structure. Close. First of all, if we start closing below this, it's worrying. But the real close is this level here. The moment we start closing below 102, that's where I think that flush begins. Okay, so it could be a situation, that's the arrow. There we go. Come on, friend, we need you. All right, so we need that arrow. And also for you guys watching this, tell me if the arrow is beneficial or not. All right, so until we start getting close below this level, we're fine. We're actually fine. But on the daily, what Bitcoin has done is Bitcoin has decided to range. Remember, Bitcoin loves to range. Assets love to range. And you will find that Bitcoin ranges over 70% of the time. And what is a range? A range is a region of equilibrium where buyers and sellers are in agreement of the current price of the asset, which suggests we have sideways motion. An uptrend is when, there are more buyers in the market. Downtrend, you've got more sellers in the market. All right, so you're overpriced. So here we have a range. And don't forget, when you have a range, you treat it like a range. Don't look for ranges to break out. Look for ranges to do what ranges do. Ranges oscillate until you see a breakout. Then you enter on the breakout. So what we have here is a range. And we can see price came to the range high. Did it break out? No. It had an attempt, but a failed attempt. Most attempts, almost about 70-80% of attempts to the range high or to the range low, fail with Bitcoin and most other assets. All right. And these are ideas that have been back tested and are statistically proven. So what we have here is an attempt at breaking up. Nope, didn't come. Came back down. Another attempt to break it. Nope, didn't come. All right. And that's what we have here. A nice 3-tap model, as we can see here. Tap number 1, tap number 2, and ultimately tap number 3 that caused the flush down. Right. Now, why was this a very rapid flush, and why should we be concerned if so? The reason this was a very rapid flush down was because if you look at the way price came up, we've got these bull bars, as we can see. Let's zoom in there on the daily. We've got these very aggressive bull bars, these white bars, showing us that, you know, the buyers really did step in here. Okay. And because of that, we created lots of fair value gaps, inefficiencies in the market, gaps in the market. Bang, that was the first gap. All right. So just as quickly as you went up, again, we have another gap here. As quickly as you went up, price came back quickly to fill those gaps. Remember what we used to say? Easy up, easy down, easy down, easy up. All right. And that's exactly what causes a range, by the way. These fair value gaps. All right. Price coming back to fill in those inefficiencies. All right. So if you did catch a short there, you absolutely nailed it. You smashed it. You nailed it. Congrats if you did catch a short there. And it's definitely one you could have caught with some of the ideas I show on this channel. All right. Now, for the bears, the people who are sat on the sideline, the people who haven't invested in spot, the people who are waiting for lower price of Bitcoin before they get involved, for those guys, what are they thinking right now? Well, for those guys, they're actually considering this to be a PO3, the power of 3. And what does that power of 3 look like? Well, I'm about to show you. That power of 3 looks like this. What we have here is our range, okay, aka accumulation. You must be familiar with this by now. Followed by, after that, a manipulation of retail traders, shortly followed by an expansion. Now, what does that tell you? That means if this PO3 is to be fruitful, price could well come a lot lower. Price could well do this to reach the target of that PO3, which again is coming in at about that 74, 76 mark. Right. So that is definitely something to be aware of. Now, how are you going to capitalize on that idea if it happens? Well, if that is to take place, again, we're going to be waiting to see, can we lose this level here? If we lose this level here, it's a bit annoying now because this stupid wick. But if we lose that level, I would now say it's that level here, 102. All right, if we start losing that level, then there is no reason why you shouldn't, wait for the break taking place here. Okay, get in on that retracement and flush it down. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get that retracement. Chances are you may not get that retracement. You may be too aggressive, and usually the expansion leg of a PO3 following the manipulation is quite quick. More often than not, you might not get that nice retracement before you head back down. You may need to enter on the close. Okay, but that's how you should be looking at these markets. That's how things are likely to play out. All right. Now, with that said, back to our range. How are we playing this range? Well, it looks like price is trying to regain acceptance and conjure up and fill these gaps here. Just as we said, easy up, easy down. But easy down, that also means easy up. So price can do one of two things, or three things. Price can create a nice little internal range here before deciding what to do, up or down. Okay. Alternatively, price can actually say, well, I'm going to come back down here. And if that's the case, watch this low to see what happens when we get to that low. If it comes back, flip structure here and breaks up, I'm going to be targeting this range high again. All right, we're going back to the all-time highs. But if we start closing below this level, as I've so beautifully drawn here, then I'm going to be quite bearish. Now, do I care what happens? No. Will I make money either way? Yes. All right. So another thing price could do here is actually just head back up. Could head back up. Oh, phone call. Could head back up. Perhaps sweep that one more time for 4 taps. But if we get 4 taps at the high, that's actually quite bullish in my books. That could mean, actually, on a higher time frame, that we are headed higher. So just bear that in mind. All right, that's enough for the macro outlook of Bitcoin. That's enough. Now, how does this affect me tomorrow? Is my question. Yes, we know what the macro might look like. What trades am I entering tomorrow or tonight? Or what trades did you enter yesterday? Well, there were a few trades. There were a few notable trades that you would be. You need to be a bit more advanced to notice them, but there were a few trades. So let's talk you through a few of them. Don't forget, this is just that expansion leg down that we saw. So first thing first, Bitcoin flushed all the way down. As you can imagine, because that move was so aggressive, right? There was so much supply infused into the market. We've got all these zones. A 1 hour supply zone there, a 2 hour supply zone here. Okay, we've got a 30-minute supply zone that's confluent with the POC. All right, and in green boxes are our 618 levels, our 618 retracement zones. So what happened then? Well, we had this massive flush down. We reacted at a supply zone, this grey box, dipped into this supply zone, obliterated any other supply that came before it. All right, but we are where we are. And what is Bitcoin doing so far? Well, what we see here is a clear bearish climax. Price has come to a climatic point. It's infused very aggressively downwards, as we can see from these black, long, full, bear trend bars. But undeniably, what we also have to say is that, hey, we had this retracement wick. This means at that level, there was a lot of buying pressure. Now, that could be many things. That can be, the sellers deciding to take profit, to come out. That could also mean, the buyers feeling that that is a fair price for Bitcoin and stepping in. Okay. And that can also just mean, like, hey, we are at a point where they are, buyers and sellers need to renegotiate. What is a renegotiation phase? That is a range. But they renegotiate the fair price of Bitcoin. Guess what happens after? We start to range. Okay. So this is the ebbs and flow of the market. All right. You have an impulse, you range. You have an impulse, you range. So what we can see here now is following this massive, trend bar down, 3 trend bars in a row, we have 3 successive trend bars in a row in the opposite direction. We have a tiny retracement, and then we have the bull step in again. Okay, and they react from this 3-minute zone, retracing down with this very aggressive bearish trend bar. Okay, and then that comes all the way up. It gives us 1 leg down, 2 legs down, 3 legs down. So we get 3 legs, bang, 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 creating our range. Now, shortly after we created that range, I don't know if we're going to have time today. But shortly after we created that range, all right, we can see at the bottom of that range, price taps it once, price comes back, taps it twice, and then off it goes. So that was a lovely range deviation. It did not close below that level. And I can show you that more specifically using this arrow tool. This is going to be my new favorite tool. This arrow tool, where is it? It's disappeared. I hope you're there. I think you're there. No, it's not. Are you there? Knock, knock. I think you're there. Yes, you are. Right, so what I'm saying is we had this low here. Price came, wasn't able to close below this low, and then retraced. Funny enough, I got a very good call from a friend of mine who showed me this and said, right, it's time to get in. Take a look, it's time to get in. Now, unfortunately, at the time of entry, using the exchange I use, the market was closed, so I couldn't quite enter. That would have been my entry right here. Don't recommend it because I'm using different tools here to enter, but it would have been a very juicy trade. I think it was a 5x, that one. All right. It's a nice 5x trade all the way up. Shortly after, so we got rid of that range. Price had a few impulses up. Let's take a look. We had impulse number 1, impulse number 2 again, impulse number 3. And what happens after? We're starting to range again. So here we have it now. We're part of this wider range that we see here. Now we did have a lot of wicks here. These wicks are symptomatic that there are sellers stepping in. Selling pressure, which is telling you, price might go down. Lo and behold, what does price do? Price goes down. All right. But now we are at this crucial region where we've created a larger range, and off of this larger range, we're going to decide what to do next. So, in record time, I'm going to give it a potential trades for tonight or tomorrow. Trade number one. Trade number one is a short from this range high. Simple, easy, piece of cake. All right. Trade number two. Trade number two is a long from this range low. Easy, piece of cake. What happens first? I don't care. It could be the long that comes first, fine. It could be the short that comes first, fine. What am I going to be looking for? I'm looking for an internal flipping market structure before I enter any of those trades. That's trade number two. Now, trade number three. Trade number three is in the case that price actually breaks down from this range. So if we were to break down from this range, I will look to enter a continuation trade that looks like this. Simply all the way to this block. Catch a nice trade there. How am I going to enter that? Well, I'm going to watch structure on the way up. As I watch this structure on the way up, I'm going to wait to see. As soon as we get that transition there, bang, I'm going to be in. I'm going to put my stop loss here, put my entry here, and then I'm going to take that all the way down to that block that I'm talking about. That's trade number three. Okay, trade number four will be at this level itself. So that's another level I'm going to be looking out for, because these are easy winners. Easy winners. Now, if your divergence bang out, wait for your divergences at that level. Okay, set your alerts at that level, wait for your divergences at that level. Okay, so these are easy three trades I think could potentially play out today or tomorrow. Are there some internal trades we can probably take here? Probably. But do I want you to risk it? No, I don't want you to risk it. All right. Now, if price does break out upwards, I'm going to be waiting for something like this. If it pierces out, what's that retracement? Can I enter off for that retracement? Targeting this block next. All right. That's how I'm playing these markets right now. Let's see which one comes into play. I am aware that we probably have a block in there, so watch out to see if we get a reaction there. As soon as we get that reaction, if we don't get a reaction, I'm all the way up. Now, don't forget, the first entry, even though it looks like the best entry, it's not always the best entry. Let's say price does break out here, and it does this, comes deep. One. This entry here could be just as profitable as this entry here. In fact, let's say it comes up without really touching that zone and gives us one more leg. This entry here could be just as juicy as this entry or this entry. So don't be attached to one particular entry in trading. Be flexible, be prepared, and be decisive. All right, so we're going to leave it there today. Don't forget, we're looking to play these ranges. I haven't mentioned it today because I don't think it will happen today, probably tomorrow or next. But these lows here are also quite attractive zones for Bitcoin. That low here and that low here, I'm going to be watching that for bang and for that as well. All right. So we're going to leave it there today. I'm going to clean this up, post it on the chat, give it some love. Hit the boost, hit the subscribe, join the family, and I'm going to see you hopefully tomorrow. But this week we're back at it. Okay, see you then.